Now, let's talk about defining the time frame and the analytic horizon. The time frame is the period during which your intervention is delivered. You have to take into consideration season variability. For example, if your intervention is about eliminating flu, but you implement it during non-flu season, it really doesn't work that well as far as your analysis. So you have to take into consideration variation in the seasons to make sure that your intervention includes important parts of the season, just like with flu. So you have to take into consideration the intervention lifestyle. The cost and outcome might change based upon how long your intervention runs. That may stabilize after a while. One of those things is what's happening now with the COVID vaccine. There's going to be a lot of costs and a lot of hiccups getting the vaccination process started with COVID. Do you want to include all that messy stuff in your analyses? Because after a while, it's going to be very smooth and it's going to run well. It really depends. Do you want to do the economic analyses of the startup of an intervention or when it's running nicely, well, and smooth? Most of the time, you're going to want to evaluate during the smooth process after all the hiccups and stuff have been worked out. So you have to take that into consideration. You also have to look at the advantages in technology. Okay. The current situation may become obsolete over some time. For example, the example they give here is HPV vaccine. They could change the recommendation where you go from 2 doses of receiving the vaccine to 3 doses of getting the vaccine. With varicella, when it first started off, it was only 1 dose. And this actually happened in Shanghai, where they were giving 1 dose of varicella vaccine, and then they realized that they need to give 2 doses of varicella vaccine to help reduce chickenpox outbreaks. So these things actually happen. So you have to take these things into consideration. The analytic horizon is the period during which the cost and benefits relevant to the intervention are measured. And the cost part is relatively easy, especially if you do a cohort study. For example, if you want to follow a cohort of children in which you vaccinate over a month. And so you only include the cost of vaccinating the children over a month. Okay, that will be the time frame. But when you vaccinate the children over a month, how likely are you to see the benefits of your vaccination within that month? You're not likely going to see the benefit of that. You might see it in 6 months. You should see it in a year. You're definitely going to see it in 2 years. So now your analytic horizon should be when will you receive the benefits of that vaccination for your cohort of kids. You should see it within 1 year. Okay, that's probably the minimum time that you should see it. That's the analytic horizon. So you must analyze the benefits that's going to occur within 1 year. For HPV vaccine, if you're looking at reducing cancer and you're following a cohort of girls, 13 to 14 years of age, and you do the same thing, you vaccinate the girls over 1 month. So again, that's your time frame. Or you could do it over a year or whatever, because you're not going to see the results of reducing cancer for HPV for decades until these 13 to 14-year-olds are in their 40s, 50s, or 60s. And so now your analytic horizon is decades. So you really have to think about your analytic horizon as far as when you're going to receive the benefits of your intervention. And that probably should set your analytic horizon. The analytic horizon is usually longer than the time frame. It can be the same length. And as I said before, you must include the intervention when you're looking at your analytic horizon. And so this is just a graphic representation of some of the things I was talking about. So for the HPV vaccine, let's say that you give the vaccine over 2 years and you want to follow every woman that you vaccinated during those 2 years. You want to follow them for 20 years and see if they develop cervical cancer.